Coldwood Interactive's Unravel is a sweet little puzzle platformer with big aspirations. It wants us to think about love and family and the way places in our memory become inextricably linked, but it might be pushing those themes a little too hard. That doesn't stop it from being a charming, perfectly paced platformer though. I'm Lee. Welcome to Button Bash. Unravel puts the player in control of Yanni, a diminutive woolen doll traipsing about the scaled-up woods of Sweden as he collects memories for an old woman's photo scrapbook. As Yanni moves through the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids-like environments, the yarn that composes his body trails out behind him. Go too far without finding a top-up, and Yanni will be unable to progress. Yanni is an extremely likable character due to some very expressive animation, whether he's nervously making his first few steps into the wilderness and being startled by a butterfly, or clapping his hands with delight when you launch a motorboat across the ocean. Yanni reacts to his environment with a range of expression rarely seen before. The environments are beautifully rendered, with each level representing a different landscape, a different season, and another era of a person's life. The early stages are whimsical, with fun romps through a berry field and a trip to the seaside, but the tone gets progressively darker as the spaces Yanni explores become more antagonistic. There's some subtle and not so subtle environmental storytelling that does a good job of inferring the lives of the people Yanni is shadowing on his journey. By the time you finish the game, you'll have crossed landscapes that represent new love, a child leaving home, a bittersweet family reunion, and the slow loss of a partner and the hope of a new generation. Maybe Coldwood didn't trust their storytelling because they've bookended the game with messages to the player letting them know that they're about to have an emotional experience, and each level ends with a series of scrapbook photos accompanied by some heartwarming prose straight out of a Hallmark card. I appreciate the developer's earnestness, but the prose tends to undermine your own experience rather than add anything of value, while straight up begging your audience to have an emotional response to your work comes off as a little condescending. I'm not completely broken, Coldwood. I think boat rides are nice, and I cry at funerals too. As a physics puzzler, Unravel lands somewhere between Limbo and Little Big Planet. The maps aren't too challenging, and while Yanni's jump is a little unreliable, it's a competent platformer built around some inventive spaces and fun set pieces. Look past the schmaltz and you'll find a game with a lot of heart and a worthy addition to anyone's collection.